I'm just figuring out how many kids I have based off of salad.
Oh, what?
Kia ora, I'm Mackenzie.
And I'm Sarah, and this week on the Wholesome Half Hour, we are talking about productive procrastination, how to procrastinate in a productive way without wasting your time. So, you might have noticed we've kind of changed things up a little bit. We've got 3 cameras rolling, very, very professional. So, from now on, the Wholesome Half Hour is going to be, you can subscribe on YouTube, you can watch it in its video glory all over there, or you can subscribe to the podcast and you can listen to it when you're driving, you're on your way to school.
Put your headphones in as you go to sleep.
Whatever. Listen to our beautiful voices.
Yep, giving you study skills as you meander through life.
Yeah, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, go to studytime.co.nz/podcast and you should be able to hit subscribe from there. And hopefully we'll be in the iTunes store, but I haven't organised that yet, so
it's on the to-do list.
It's a theoretical promise.
Awesome, yeah. So, is there anything else we wanted to talk about before we moved on?
I think we'll get straight into it.
Oh, actually, no. One thing. Our level 2 physics walkthrough guides.
They are finally out.
They are out.
Should I go get one?
Yeah, go run.
Okay, I'll go get one.
Go run.
Hold on. You keep talking.
I will keep talking. So while Siren's going to...
This door's very hard to open.
He's on Struggle Street. That's so embarrassing. Anyway, yeah, so our level 2 physics walkthrough guides are finally out, and you guys can order those online by looking up through the StudyTime website. And just like all of our other walkthrough guides, they are all available online as well as other things like checklists and kind of like revision kind of tools and stuff as well that you guys can check out for an ever-growing database of subjects that we have available.
Sorry about that loud thing, that door's real mucked up.
Yeah.
Whoa!
So here's what they look like.
There's a third one as well, but I didn't get the third one.
But they're all lovely in purple.
Lovely, full colour printing, got all the diagrams, all of that cool stuff.
Lots of diagrams, loves the diagrams.
Everything, all the pretty things to look at.
Yeah, so these are available.
StudyTime.co.nz/store.
Yeah.
You can get them there.
Amazing. Awesome.
Oh, and if you, did you talk about the UE Boom?
I did not talk about the UE Boom.
If you buy them now, chuck in the promo code UE Boom as the promo code when you're checking out, and you go on the draw to win a UE Boom.
Amazing.
That's like the classic giveaway prize at the moment. I feel like the old
you
UE
can't
Boom.
go wrong with a UE Boom though. There is no instance where there is no situation that wouldn't be made better by a UE Boom.
That's true. I'm gonna I feel like you're a bit low. There we go. We're still getting into the.
That's fine.
This fancy setup.
Yeah, but UE Booms are so amazing. They're so good.
You should buy a guide.
They contribute to our lives so well.
Win a UE Boom.
Yeah.
Do you own a UE Boom?
I do not actually. Maybe I should buy some study guides and.
Go on the draw. I feel like that's a bit of a conflict of interest. Mackenzie wins the UE Boom.
I mean, maybe. Maybe. Anyway,
awesome.
Productive procrastination.
Yes.
So how would you define productive procrastination, even before we start sort of getting into
I guess for me, the classic thing that comes to mind is when I'm meant to be doing work, whether it's uni work or work, and say I'm doing a particular task, so say I'm doing work, say I'm editing a video, and I get kind of bored, and instead of procrastinating by going and taking a nap, I'll do another work-related thing. So instead of editing a video, I might make an Instagram post or something different that's still a productive thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my term or my kind of definition of productive procrastination might be a little bit more flexible.
Yeah.
And that I kind of just think of it as anything that you can justify as benefiting you in some way.
No, absolutely.
And I think that only extends so far though, because I think a little bit by that logic you can almost justify anything that you do. You could say oh, I can game for 12 hours straight because I'm building up my hand-eye coordination skills. No, that's not quite what we mean.
Esports is cool, kids. You should get into that.
Yeah.
I'm all about that Fortnite life. I've never played Fortnite, but...
No comment.
Have you ever played Fortnite?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway.
Is that going to be your new career choice, getting into Fortnite?
No. Our flat has a PlayStation 2, so we've just been playing nostalgic games.
I've played Fortnite on the PlayStation 2, it's a bag of time.
So good, kids.
Sick graphics.
Yeah. Oh, God. How disconnected do we sound? Anyway, so I kind of think of it as well, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be school related or work related. It might be something that it's just like it would benefit you in some ways. And I think part of like what kind of ties into the idea of productive procrastination is like this idea that I think sometimes we get stuck in is that we need to sleep, eat, study, repeat, and that's 100% like not the case. Like, and I think I at least feel sometimes like if I'm doing anything that isn't the basic requirements or not study, like I almost feel guilty about doing it.
Yeah.
And I think part of productive procrastination in some ways as well, I think highlights the idea that like you should take time to do other things as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Actually, one of the things that I started doing recently that links into this is I kind of like added a weekly reminder to at some point tidy my room, because it's way easier to tidy your room like in small increments than like let it get real messy and then like try and do it all and it takes like 2 hours.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's actually going very well. My room's been tidy for like 2 weeks straight.
Amazing
so I'm going to
stuff.
get out my chair again and turn the heater down. And then
Now you're too hot.
No, I'm not too hot. I just like, when the fan's on, it makes a lot of noise, you know?
Oh
I'm going to leave the heater on, but we're going to put the fan down to one.
Right,
This is a very professional episode that we're filming today.
And I think as well another like classic example of something like productive procrastination is like the whole like tidy your room or clean your space. And I think if you're
go for a run, go for a walk.
Yeah, go for a run, go for a walk, clean your room. One thing that I've actually been doing lately is I've been knitting myself a scarf.
Oh yeah.
And so I've been doing that, and like I genuinely feel like, hey, like it's a cool skill, and by the end of it, like you're getting something out of it. So like I would consider that productive procrastination because you're still like achieving something.
It's not just like lying on your bed and like mindlessly scrolling till the end of time, which you could absolutely do. Facebook and Instagram would be very happy if you did that. Yeah. But something that you kind of derive some kind of greater value from. Yeah,
exactly. I think, to be quite honest, so much of what we do could be considered like productive procrastination, bar things like I think scrolling and like hours and hours and hours of gaming to an extent. You know, I've seen those stuff articles. Oh my god. Moving on. But I genuinely do just think it is things that like can be anything that will benefit you in some way, and I think it's 100% like okay to do it. And I think, at the end of the day, you still have to do whatever task you are initially avoiding, but it's kind of, I think, part of that, like, build yourself up to it, like, start with a little bit and then you get, like, into the motion of it. And I think sometimes as well going away and doing something a little bit different for a while is really good at keeping motivation levels up. Like you say, like, if you get bored of one task, go away and do another one for a while so that you don't get too bogged down in it all.
Yeah. I guess one question that comes to mind is how do you avoid like using productive procrastination as an excuse for like procrastinating like important things that need to be done?
Yeah, and I think that's like definitely how the procrastination part of it comes into it. Like you are basically like more or less avoiding the task that you should be doing. So I think just like when we talk about like regular procrastination, you have to, again, like identify that what you're doing is basically an avoidance technique. And like...
Which is fine if it's going to allow you to, in some cases, just like enjoy your life more. Or in other cases, like come back to the task in like an hour's time or tomorrow and actually like get more done than you would have if you tried to like persevere in that particular moment.
I think the thing with productive procrastination is it's usually a task that has quite a distinct beginning and end point. So like that's I think how it very much differs from something like a scroll or gaming or something like that, because you can really do that for an indefinite period of time. So I think with things like productive procrastination is something you go away and you do another task for a while, and once that like smaller task is completed, you can kind of like return to whatever big thing that you were intending on doing.
Yeah, so that's probably like a really good way of making sure that productive procrastination doesn't get out of hand when you go to do that task. Like then and there you set like how long you're going to be doing it for and what exactly you're going to be doing.
Exactly, yeah, and I think just like having that clear task in there is quite important.
And not allowing yourself to kind of get carried away into the infinite world.
Start mopping the fridge down like.
I'm mopping my fridge down. I do that every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a favourite. Actually, funny story. Our fridge has like been leaking water. It's kind of weird. Yeah. It's kind of weird. You just like walk up to the fridge and you're like, oh, my feet are wet now. So there's some amazing tidbits from Sarah's life.
Our fridge like needs another clear out at the moment. It's getting weird.
Question. I wear glasses, but I'm not wearing them now. Can you actually like read the like how long we've been going for on the recording?
No.
Okay, we'll just keep talking then. If I had my glasses at 14 minutes.
I don't even know where to look right now, dude.
I think it's like 14 minutes-ish.
Right.
That's all right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Do we want to answer some of the questions that we got?
We shall.
Over when we did a call out the other day on IG?
Yes, on Instagram. IG. And I put one on Facebook, but no one replied to my Facebook. You guys are... It's very sad.
It's fine.
If you guys
just cry himself to sleep tonight.
It's a sad life I live. If you guys have any questions for next week, you should send us a DM on Facebook or Instagram. Just write a question and then just say Wholesome Half Hour or something. And we'll answer it on next week's show. Or you can send us an email if you're into that kind of thing. StudyTime@ietutoring.co.nz. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, send us a DM. We'll answer that on next week's show. Or just leave it in the comments. I realise we have like a proper comment section now.
We do. So slap them down there.
That was a very long way of us saying you should ask us some questions next week.
Ask us questions,
please.
and we'll help answer them.
You can ask us questions about anything. If you want to know what's the best coffee to drink, you can ask that.
Sarah will give you his in-depth thoughts.
A
considered argument.
Maybe I'll bring some coffee samples. And
when we're really just down for ideas, we'll just have Sarah come in with an array of coffee to sort of taste.
Tibble. I think the Instagram. I never know if people's like Instagram names are their real names. Tibble on Instagram wants to know if scholarships are any different to level 3.
Like scholarship subjects.
Yeah. So like I presume we're talking like NCQA like scholarships.
Yeah. Okay. So
short answer is yes.
It's a short answer yes, and I will explain how SCOL works. So it's basically an extra paper that you sit at the end of the year, and it differs for every subject. I did it for history, so it was like quite a bit different. And you generally, I think we've started some SCOL workshops as well.
Yes, we have.
Which you guys can ask us
Go
about.
to the StudyTime website.
Yeah, StudyTime website. We've got some SCOL workshops, and basically, it's like a bit more of an advanced like exam, but it's much more holistic in the way that it tests. So like for chem or something, like you'll have a paper on like aqueous solutions, a paper on organic, a paper on something else. But for the SCOL for it will probably like maybe have a little bit of everything in it. So it's far more in depth and like a bit more advanced. And I think the advice that I was always given was that if you are like getting excellences in all your internals throughout the year in a subject, you're probably in a good position to sit something like SCOL. It does require that you do some questions, like you do work in your own time. Just some extra study and that kind of thing, and probably have a look at a few previous years to get an idea of the different kind of formats of that subject, because every subject will differ quite a bit, just because it is a bit more specialised.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to remember, I did SCOL Geo, SCOL Media Studies, and something else.
So you went for the 3.
I went for the 3. You got to go for the 3. That's another thing to point out with SCOL is, so if you get one SCOL, it's like a $100 or $500.
Yeah.
And if you can get 3, you get $2,000 every year for 3 years.
Oh, really? I thought it was just a straight 2,000.
I think it's for more. I'm pretty sure it's for more than 1 year.
Oh, see, I didn't
it's
know
like
that.
It's like it's a good deal. And, I mean, even if you don't get it, like if you think you're capable, like there's no harm done in sitting
it's
through
like
skulls.
I think sitting skull is something like $30 or something like that. If that.
Yeah, it's totally
Sometimes
worth
your
it.
skull would fit the bill for it as well.
And like the questions are like specialized in the sense like you have a good chance,
or like an idea.
Like just by being there, you've automatically like increased your chances of getting the skull. Like if you don't show up to the exam, like you're not going to get it.
There actually, I do remember actually being told something like that, because it's like of all the people that are entered into skull, only something like 60% actually sit the exam and like give it a decent enough effort. Because I did skull history in level 2, but it was it was more just like to get an idea of it as opposed to actually like give it like a decent crack, like like what you do anyway. But a lot of people actually get enrolled in skull and then either decide they don't want to do it, or like kind of run out of time to kind of do like dedicate that extra time to study for it or something like that, and so they either won't sit it or they'll turn up and they'll realize like, oh, I can't really, and so they don't really sort of give it a crack either. And you kind of whittle more things down just by trying. Just by trying, you've like got automatically increased your chances. Yeah. Especially if you get in there and on the day you never know, you might get a question that you really like, but a lot of the other candidates might not like, and it's a numbers game. If you're in the top so many percent of the people who sit it. That's another thing as well. So you sit 1 and you get 500 if you achieve. 2, you get 1,000. 3, you get 2,000, but you can also get outstanding. So that's if you're the top of that. Like the top so many in that subject. In that subject, you get 750 as opposed to 5. No, I think more. I think it is more than that. I think I'm pulling that number. There's a lot of money on the line. Yeah, the thing is, you might as well give it a shot. If you don't sit it, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. But if you do sit it, like, you either will get it or you won't get it. Like, if you don't get it, you have nothing to lose, right? Yeah, it's not like getting a not achieved. It's just like you got scholarship and you didn't, but you gave it a go, right? There are literally no consequences of not achieving your skull. No. Yeah. It's totally worth it. Are they that different to, going back to like the actual source of the question, are they different to level 3? Yes, look at the practice, look at the previous exams, and that will give you a good idea, because it varies quite significantly by subject. Yeah, I know for media studies it's fairly similar to the externals. It's just kind of like up another level. Yeah, and I think for the most part that's really what it is it's just like a little bit more advanced. But if you are like achieving well enough in your internals and stuff throughout the year, like you're in a pretty good position, and it's not too late in the year to sort of start thinking about that kind of thing. I know a lot of people don't there are some schools, I do know there are some schools that specifically set aside subject like slots for skull. So like throughout the entire year you'll work on skull, but you don't need to do that. That just don't be intimidated by that idea, because you can definitely like still study for it like outside of school, or in like some class times, but also do some of your own work outside and still get it. Just to kind of like, I guess, wrap up this question, and to kind of prove that like sitting skull like is worth it, is all the schools that like the top 3 or top 5 or top 10 schools in New Zealand that like get the most scholarships each year are the schools that kind of like just encourage their students to like enroll and like show up at the exam. So if you're thinking about it, it's like totally worth doing. Yeah, 100% worth doing. Nothing to lose. Like you have nothing to lose. Yeah, straight up. Okay. Awesome. Next question. Cindy asks, is it a good idea to move schools right now, doing level 3 and 2? That depends on whether or not you've got another year. Yeah, it depends on whether you've got another year, and I guess kind of depends on your situation kind of overall. Yeah, I think if you, definitely 100% boils down to the reasons why you would be potentially moving. Yeah. But I think no matter how far through the year or something you are, most schools generally follow like a pretty similar format in the order that they kind of like tackle subjects throughout the year. There will still be some things that you would maybe miss out on or double up on. Yeah. But I think if you very much like didn't like your school or you were really struggling with it, like it would be worth, I feel it would be worth switching if it would mean that you would benefit from it, like if your school is negatively impacting you and you would like be greatly better off by doing it somewhere else, then I would be for that.
Yeah, I think I'd like just encourage you to like assess your situation, talk to your parents or whoever you think like could be helpful in making the decision, and probably the most important thing is to like recognize and why you want to change schools. If it's because for whatever reason you're finding like factors at that particular school like extremely challenging and like it's making your school experience like really frustrating, then it's probably worthwhile moving schools. But if you're kind of just doing it like just because, I don't know, you're kind of like bored, like just consider and like kind of realize that it probably is going to like somewhat negatively affect your like on paper academic performance for the year, but if it means you're a lot happier, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if it's something that you like don't have any control over, like I don't know, like if you're switching cities or something like that, then it can't really be helped, and you can do things to kind of like make up for it. And like I know most teachers and stuff like that will be like willing to help you to kind of like bridge whatever gaps, like anything that you may have missed. But it would definitely be a case of having good communication with whatever school you would be potentially shifting to get like an idea of where you are and where their classes currently are. Particularly if you're doing level 3 and level 2 at the same time, that's a bit of a unique situation. Which I think if you were if you still had another year of school, I think it would be worth it. Just a simple fact that you've got like a whole nother year as well still. So like that's absolutely fine. But I think if it is like your last year, you kind of do have to just consider it's already like halfway through the year. Yeah. Probably, really, it's kind of like over halfway through the year if you consider how short term. If it's your
last year, unless it's really unpleasant, like it might be worth just sticking it out. It's only you've only got like another like 10 weeks of actually having to show up to school at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. We've got another question here from Chase. What happens if you don't get enough credits to finish the year?
So you can do bridging courses. You can
if it's your last year.
So if theoretically, if it was like your level 3 and you needed certain subjects or whatever to for like UE for a course you're doing later on, like a tertiary education, you can do things like called bridging courses, which is basically just a short 6-week, if that, course at the beginning, like before.
They're not particularly challenging.
Yeah, before your first semester, depending on where you're going. They basically like literally like just bridge whatever like you're kind of missing out on. So it basically means that when you start the year, you're at the right like level, like, and you're at the like standard that they're kind of expecting of everyone getting into that course.
Yeah.
I've known people who've done that and it's been absolutely fine. And I know a lot of like international students and all that kind of have to do stuff like that as well, just because of differences across systems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's all our questions for this week. If you have a question next week, or if you have a question next week, kind of say, send them through. So
is that half an hour?
That is half an hour-ish. I don't know. We started recording a little bit early.
Right.
This is like a new thing that I thought I'd introduce, and I was going to tell you about it before the show, but I did tell you. So
awesome. What is it?
Do you have a kind of thought of the week, or like a question that you want to like ask the audience?
Oh, a question. Okay.
Or just like a general thought, like what's on your mind? What do you think is like kind of important in the world of study and life right now?
Okay, well actually it's kind of on the theme of today's thing. Seeing all the newspaper articles about gaming and stuff and how people are turning up to school because they're gaming all night and stuff like that. I personally feel that the articles themselves, so my beef is more with the articles than whatever's actually going on. I'm just going to disclaimer that now. My beef with those kind of articles, I've not read any of them because I personally don't want to do that to myself, but I kind of feel that a lot of them are like, parents, you don't know what your kids are up to. Like, surely you know if your kids are up all night gaming. Like, I just think that that's a very naive kind of thought to even begin with.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a parent. But, like, I just think that the articles are written in a way to kind of stigmatize things and further to... I think if I was a parent, I'd feel patronized by them because I would think I should know what my kid is doing, all that kind of thing.
I guess, like, on the whole, like, gaming thing, the classic media spin on just like anything to do with like parenting or like what the youth are up to is always kind of like, that's kind of.
I just think if your parent is wanting to talk to you about anything like that, then have a conversation with them. But I think you shouldn't base an entire opinion or something like that off one article, especially when it is written in such a way as to only convey one kind of message, and it's an opinionated one.
Yeah, and the other thing I guess is, say if your parents did want to like have a conversation about that, I guess one thing I'd say is kind of like understand the fact that like your parents are asking because they care about you, right? And they also like don't understand like what gaming culture like is.
Yeah.
And it's not like oh, maybe it isn't. In most cases, it's not like they're thinking like games are evil, you shouldn't play games.
Yes.
It's just like they actually like they don't understand like
genuinely
why do you,
a lack of understanding.
Spend 3 hours like playing this game.
Yeah.
But like in reality, you know, it's not really different to like, you know, other things you could spend like 3 hours doing. But it's just like, for most parents, it's definitely coming from a place of like care and love rather than anything else.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's also recognizing that it is a conversation, not an attack.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
What's
your thought?
Oh, this is a great question. My thought of the week is actually I'm just gonna like cop out, and this is a video that would have come out a couple of days ago by the time you're watching this. You should handwrite your notes. That's kind of my thought of the week. Controversial opinion.
No, it isn't. Is it? I've always been told handwriting your notes is always better.
Handwriting your notes is definitely better. There's like a lot of research on it. If you haven't watched it yet, you should totally watch the video that we put up on it.
I handwrite all my notes. It's just better.
Yeah. First trimester of uni, I typed notes. And that was my worst trimester ever. Obviously, there's other factors that play into that. But like, I handwrite all my notes now as well. Yeah. It's totally worth it. There's like a lot of science on it. We touch on it in that video. And if you just like Google like typing versus handwriting notes, there's like a lot of compelling evidence.
Yeah, I come from a psych course, so I think they kind of push that idea. Like,
but like I go to these lectures and you just have, the other thing is it's not even the typing factor. Half the people in lectures on their laptops aren't writing notes. They're on Facebook.
I love watching people scrolling through shopping sites. I love watching people online shop in lectures. It's
Why
so
don't
much
you
fun.
Just go to Macca's?
Like there is literally like you got nothing out of this lecture. You're here in body, not mind.
People play games in lectures.
Yeah.
Like Fortnite. Like, why are you there?
Yeah.
Like.
Literally.
Seriously, you could just be at home.
I think it's more disruptive than anything because anyone behind you is going to see what you're doing and they are going to be distracted by it. You do not know how many times I've watched people in front of me scroll ASOS.
Yeah. Also, if you sit next to me, don't whisper in lectures because I get very annoyed by that. Maybe I'm just an evil person.
It's not the thought of the week. It's what grinds Siren's gears.
This is
I love it.
If you ever find me in a lecture, don't whisper because I'll throw a pen at you or something.
Siren's like at me.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
I just hate life. Nah, I love life.
Live, love.
Lectures. So, on that note, if you want to keep watching, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast already, you should totally like subscribe. Hit subscribe on YouTube, or if you want to download it on Apple Podcasts, on your Android phone, whatever, you can find all the details for that at studytime.co.nz/podcast. That's our show for this week.
Yeah. Awesome.
We'll see you later.
We'll see you next week, guys.
Kaki te ano, and a very good evening indeed. It's not really, you might not be listening to this in the evening, but it's spiritually, but you know.
That spiritual evening, good night.
Professional.
I was gonna say, oh yeah, like join us next week. We'll talk about getting into holiday mode and stuff, and then I forgot, so didn't. But that's fine. No.
Join us next week when
we talk about our holidays. Yay!